Everyone thinks a ship needs a crew to truly be lost. They're wrong. They're wrong. Sometimes, the ocean claims vessels in ways far more chilling, turning them into phantom wanderers, a silent threat on the high seas, an enigma that defies every maritime convention. The Lyubov Orlova wasn't just lost. She was abandoned, then simply vanished. Her story began far more auspiciously. Built in Yugoslavia in 1976, the MS Lyubov Orlova was a formidable expedition cruise ship, purpose-built for navigating the icy waters of the Arctic and Antarctic. For decades, she carried adventurers to the planet's most remote corners, a vessel of discovery, a titan of polar exploration. But by the 2000s, her glory days were fading. She'd changed hands multiple times, her maintenance records growing patchier, her future increasingly uncertain. Like many aging vessels, the economic realities began to bite, and a once proud ship faced the ignominious fate of the scrapyard. In 2010, the Lyubov Orlova was seized in St. John's, Newfoundland, by creditors. Her final voyage as a working ship had ended. For 2 years, she sat forlornly in port, a ghost of her former self, a stark reminder of unfulfilled promises and unpaid debts. The plan was simple: tow her to the Dominican Republic, where she would be scrapped. A Canadian company, Neptune Marine, undertook the task. On January 23, 2013, the tugboat Charlene M. took the Lyubov Orlova in tow, pulling her out of St. John's Harbor and into the open Atlantic. The initial leg of the journey was uneventful, but less than 24 hours later, just as they cleared Canadian waters, a fierce storm erupted. The seas grew violent, the winds howled, and the tow line, strained beyond its limits, snapped. The Lyubov Orlova was adrift. The Charlene M. attempted to re-establish the tow, a desperate dance with the raging ocean. For 2 days, they battled the tempest, but the conditions were too severe. The Orlova, now a massive, unpowered hulk, was being battered mercilessly, drifting further and further away. Eventually, the Charlene M. was forced to abandon the attempt, fearing for the safety of its own crew. They notified Canadian authorities, who in turn dispatched the Coast Guard vessel CCGS Sir William Alexander. The Lyubov Orlova, meanwhile, was drifting east, towards international waters. On February 1st, the Sir William Alexander managed to secure a new tow line to the Lyubov Orlova. For a brief time, it seemed the crisis was averted, but the weather again turned hostile. The new tow line also snapped, this time permanently. The ghost ship was truly free. Canadian authorities, deeming the ship no longer a direct threat to offshore oil rigs or shipping lanes, made the controversial decision to release her. The Lyubov Orlova, an unmanned, unlit 4,000-ton steel behemoth, was now a rogue vessel, a potential disaster waiting to happen. She was last detected by a transponder ping on February 4th, over 250 nautical miles east of St. John's. After that, silence. The Lyubov Orlova, once a beacon of exploration, became a silent phantom, swallowed by the vast, indifferent Atlantic. The disappearance of such a large vessel sparked widespread alarm and fascination. Maritime authorities issued warnings about a potential hazard to navigation. A ship of her size, drifting without power, could collide with other vessels, leading to catastrophic consequences. The world's media began to speculate. Was she sinking? Had she been salvaged by clandestine operators? Or was she, as some theories suggested, sailing on, a derelict, rat-infested ghost ship, an unsettling specter on the horizon? The story took on an almost mythical quality. The rat-infested ghost ship became a headline staple. Experts warned that without a crew, the ship's internal systems would fail, leading to decay, perhaps even a potential biohazard if the rats, starving, turned on each other. Sightings, unconfirmed and often sensationalized, began to surface. A fishing trawler claimed to have spotted her. A satellite image, blurry and inconclusive, was offered as proof, but each lead, when investigated, dissolved into uncertainty. One of the most persistent theories was that she had indeed drifted across the Atlantic, carried by currents, towards the shores of Ireland or Scotland. The idea of a ghost ship emerging from the mist onto European coastlines fueled imaginations and anxieties alike. In March 2013, reports emerged of a potential sighting off the coast of Scotland. A distress beacon originating from a lifeboat that had apparently broken free from the Orlova was detected. This lent credence to the idea that the ship was still out there somewhere. But despite extensive searches by various maritime agencies and even private vessels, no definitive trace of the Lyubov Orlova herself was ever found. The lifeboat was one thing, the massive ship quite another. It was a tantalizing clue, but ultimately a dead end. So what became of the Lyubov Orlova? The most probable, if unspectacular, explanation is that she succumbed to the relentless power of the ocean. Without power, without a crew, she was a fragile shell against the elements. She was likely battered by storms, her structural integrity compromised, until she eventually broke apart and sank beneath the waves, her hull crushed by the immense pressure of the deep. The Atlantic, a graveyard for countless vessels, claimed another victim. Yet the allure of the ghost ship persists. The human imagination struggles with an absence, with something simply gone asterisk. We want a definitive ending, a wreck to find, a final resting place. But the ocean rarely offers such neat conclusions. The Lyubov Orlova serves as a chilling reminder of the ocean's raw power, a Dyatlov pass of the sea. An event where something significant vanished, leaving behind only questions, theories, and the enduring mystery of what truly happened out there, in the vast, unforgiving blue. Her fate is a testament to the fact that even in our hyper-connected world, the ocean still holds secrets. It reminds us that not every story gets a neat resolution, and some mysteries are destined to remain forever lost to the currents and the deep. Explore another vessel claimed by the deep in our next dive into maritime mysteries.